Okay, next we want to talk about basically the second pillar, which is teaching them the how. Okay, so in this, we want to focus on the mindset as well as learning. So in terms of mindset, what people sometimes think that, okay, I need to take them to the Arabic alphabet. That's fantastic. But look, many people would not be motivated to learn the Arabic alphabet. It depends on the person, right? And also, if you spend all the time learning the Arabic alphabet, you may not be spending time on the motivation, and you have to balance it and look at the person. Okay, so I tell them that, look, in the meantime, you can use transliteration, as I've shown you in this example. And I've shown you some examples of what some of the new Muslims have achieved, but it wasn't like a one-day thing. It took several months to get there, and not several months because you need several months to learn it. It's because of the lack of motivation and prioritization. Okay, so some people get very concerned about, my pronunciation is not right. So, look at, what's blocking them, right? What's the obstacle? So help them understand that, look, it's not about pronunciation. Your salah can actually be rewarded more than an Arab, right? Because you're sincere, you're focused, you're making time for it, and so on and so forth. Okay, so remind them of this thing. What's important is for you to invest time and do your best to learn. But if you're putting in your effort, then it's not about like how good your pronunciation is, but it's about how much you're actually remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, and again, if they say, oh, I'm busy and overwhelmed, remember that, look, it's not like a liability. Salah is supposed to help you with your burden, right? You're going to the source, the one who actually owns everything, the one who has the ability and power to reduce your burden. So go and think of it as a way to ask for help, not as something else that you need to do. So that mindset is also very important for you to discuss it with them. Look, you're not preaching, you're helping them discuss, ask the right questions. What does it mean for you to pray? What does it mean when someone does not pray? So if you are, let's say it's time for Salah. Okay, 2 hours, you get 2 hours for Salah, right? That's it. Now, within those 2 hours, you kept working on something, or you kept sleeping, or you kept watching a movie. What does it tell you? Who do you love more? Okay, now let's say if it was sleep or movie, then it's a different situation. If you were actually working or studying, look, what does it mean for someone who was going to pause his studies or work and spend 10 minutes to pray? Is he going to be less blessed or more blessed? Right? So this is something you need to help the person understand that, okay, even why are you studying? Is it just about the marks? Is it like, why are you making calls or going to business? Is it just about money or the blessing or the impact? So the one who controls everything, the one who controls your end goal, is it smart to spend time with him or away from him? And that's only like 10 minutes we're talking about. Okay, so we talked about this. All right, so now in terms of how do you teach them? Okay, so again, I'm going to take you to this document. In this document, we have a link to our Salah guide. Okay, so we'll use that and we'll walk you through what we have in that. Okay, so in pillar number 2, right? So as you can see here, this is our main doc. We have linked to this Salah document. Okay, and the reason of linking it again, this can then help us change it, add things to it, remove things as we learn better. Most of our documents have a table of contents, so you can easily jump on different things. Okay, so here, look, table of contents, and you have all these things. We'll just quickly show it to you. So, you want to use these videos, okay, and you can actually show them the videos with you. So this videos will help them, actually do the full demo of the wudu and so on and so forth. Okay, so you want them to be able to see it so that they can actually check from it when they're at home. And then when they come to you, then you review, okay, what breaks your wudu? What are the steps of the wudu? If they forget, ask them to use their app so they can correct themselves. If you want them to use the app so that when they're not with us, or they can still have something to refer to. Now, in terms of PDFs, right? So you can go through this PDF, which is linked here. That's going to give you a quick learning of the Salah. Okay, there's one thing very important. So I have some new Muslims who have, who now started praying and they have gone through this book. And then later on, I realized that, look, so there was something that happened in the mosque. The Imam did the sujood as-saw, and the new Muslim did not know about it. So I realized that's true. We haven't talked about it. So once the person has gone through this book and now they're ready, make sure that you cover the details. So here is something that you can use to cover the details from newmuslimguide.com. Again, I understand that this is going to be a very few percentage of new Muslim that would actually go there, but you need to remember if the person is actually, graduating and learning and wants to know more, then make sure that you actually teach them the proper prayer, full prayer, which would have the details like sujood as-sahwi and things like that. Okay, same thing goes for cleanliness. You can use the details from here. Otherwise, the short one would be this video and this document here. Okay, if you want a New Muslim Guide's PDF, again, that's linked for you here. Okay, now another thing that's important here is that how do you actually teach them what to say, right? And that becomes challenging, right? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. And what does this all mean? So what we have done is there's another document that you're going to use, and you can share this document with them as well. And let me show it to you. You can also take pictures of this so that you can look at it like, one line at a time. Sometime I also do is like I send them like a WhatsApp recording so they can practice with that recording and then they can send it back to me. So depending on the person and what works for them, and I'll show you what I've done here. Okay, now you may ask, why do you have to write the transliteration? Well, the reason I have to write it is because, so again, you have the table of contents here. The reason I had to write this is because the transliteration in many books is not convert friendly. Okay, so as you can see here, look, many transliteration books write it according to the Arabic words, not according to the pronunciation. So I hope you can see this, right? I'm using TH for Dal or Wa, or you can use, Z as well, depending on what's easier for the person, right? I'm also using capital uppercase letters to denote heaviness. So the small R would be Ra, and a capital R would be Ra, okay? It's just something you can use. And all this is actually recorded as well. So if, and then with the meaning as well. So here's a video playlist, right? So it comes down to 28 videos and each video covers some portion of it. As you can see the playlist here. Okay, so these are the 28 videos, right? Very short clips. It just helps you practice, shows you the different steps and how to look at the transliteration. Again, don't get overwhelmed. Just take it one line at a time. Even if you cover 2 or 3 in a week, that's great progress. And in the meantime, they can just look at the app and read however they can, right? Again, you don't have a lot of options here. Okay, now it's very important to understand, look, I have 3 apps. Okay, so I typically get them all these 3 apps, and there's a reason for I get them all the 3 apps, because they give you different functionality. So to save you time, what I would recommend is, I've described these apps in this video. So what's the benefit of each app has been described in the video. So make sure you take a look at it. So what I will do is I will actually put the link of the video here under the apps, so you know what I'm talking about. And I've linked, obviously Android and Apple both. So here's the video. This is the playlist, right? Oh, no. Oh, sorry. This is the full videos, right? This is actually going to show you step by step how do you pray, the full motion, and how do you make wudu. So in this playlist that I've created, it actually walks you through the different apps. So I'm going to put this link in here. So obviously it's very important to try the apps as well, so you know what it is. And so I'm just going to jump to apps. So this video will give you the overview of the apps. Okay. Okay. Here's actually another doc, right? So one of the new Muslim, what he did, and it's going to come here. Okay, so this is how I was teaching them. So you have an example of that as well. Now, if the person asks you about if you want more on spirituality and inner dimensions of the prayer, then these are 2 video series you can watch with them or let them watch it. If you want to read a book, here's a book. Here are some practical tips, right? So some people say, well, okay, how do I pray when I'm not at home? I'm outside. Right. So this is some good examples, like you can go to restaurants, you can use parking lots, there are pictures, some of the things that you can do. Prayers can be done with ease. I talk about basically, combining prayer, wiping on the socks, and rulings like these. And these are very important things, again, because you're not being able to get perfection from them. So you want to make sure that they know these options as well. Now, look, as I said, look, we just have to tell them, look, what's the best thing is, okay, before I tell you about those things, I want to show you something. So if someone wants to print this side by side, so this is actually one of the new Muslims did that. So he took my straight stuff, which looks good on the phone, but if you can print it, then look, what he did was he wrote it like left and right. So you have, you know, the transliteration, and then you have the translation of it right away. Okay, what I was trying to tell you is that, look, we want to, when we are talking to them about prayer, right, one of the things that we want to convey to them is the notion of that, look, Allah wants you to pray 5 prayers in a day, okay? But 1 is better than 0. And you may have to start with 1 to build that habit. Okay, that's your decision. I'm saying, look, I'm not changing the rule of Allah. He wants you to pray 5 times a day. But again, 1 is better than 0, 2 is better than 1, and 3 is better than 2, and so on and so forth. Okay, if the person is really struggling, you know, you can say, look, the best thing is 5 prayers in their own times. Okay, next best thing is, let's say if you're not doing that, let's say if Asr is starting at 3:30 p.m. So you pray your Dhuhr at 3:15. By the time you're done with Dhuhr, you know, time for Asr will kick in, right? So then you pray Asr. So this way you have prayed both prayers in time, but it's still, you know, it's not the best thing, but it's still better than not praying. And many people are not praying. So, you know, another thing you can do is, look, as a very new Muslim, again, if you see him not praying, you can try to pray Dhuhr and Asr together, either, you know, either earlier in the time of Dhuhr or later in the time of Asr. Again, I'm not saying that this is the normal, but, you know, as you practice and as you work with new Muslims, you realize that, look, most of them are not praying anyways. So you're giving them something that's better than nothing, okay? So yeah, so this is basically our, you know, topic of Salah. That's going to be, and then, you know, these are some examples of weekly follow-up in which we learn Salah, but we also talk about, you know, the motivation and the how, the why of it, and we also discuss some goals. So let me stop this module here, and then we'll start the next module.